George Wyatt, Chicago, Illinois. The first deal I did was a $3,000 deal. Took me a little while to get started. Felt I had to know everything and learn everything. And the fastest learning that I could say is that pick up the phone. But that deal was everything that Joe taught us not to do. So wasn't the traditional easy deal, but I was a little nervous, shaking, signing the contracts. But it gets easier. So that was memorable, and everything not to do. Well, like I said, I had to read everything and know everything. So about a month and a half probably to get the memo signed. The seller wanted more than it was worth rent-wise. So it took probably 45 days, but we kept going back and forth on lowering the rent, and when it got to the rent was lowered to where it needed to be, we moved it in 3 days, I think. But I probably had maybe 10 hours in that deal, which if you figure that, by the time you meet with the sellers, get the memo signed, do your showings, send some emails, it was easy work. And it basically works out to about $300 an hour. The best deal I've done was $10,000. The downside of that deal, which I'll never forget this deal, is I didn't raise the selling price enough. So the dealer, and I even went back to the seller to ask them if they would take less. He said, no, this is what you told me you were going to give me. So now what I've learned is to raise that selling price high enough, and you can always drop that down, because this person, we had two people competing for the house. And the girl asked me, well, how can I knock the other competition out? And I said, well, you're neck and neck. You both have about the same income. You both have about the same credit. And both are going to take about the same time to buy. And she goes, well, if I came up with $10,000, would that knock them out? I said, I'm sure we can make something work. So that was memorable, but I did give the seller $3,000 out of the 10 because that's what I told him I would do, and I want to stand by what I say I'm going to do. So he was very happy. He got a good person in the house, and they're probably going to close in the next few months, I think. So that's pretty exciting. This guy, and the reason it was even more memorable is the guy that moved in the house should be dead. He had pancreatic cancer. He had to file bankruptcy because he had so much medical bills. And he lives life to the fullest, never thought he could own a house. That was exciting.
So you got to help somebody.
Yeah, so that made me feel good. So it wasn't as much about the money as this guy thought his life was over. Now he lives life, it's like it's his last day on earth. And so that made me feel good. I want to say I was on Facebook. On the right side over there, they have the little ads, and it says that you could buy houses, or there was some type of investor. So I clicked on it to see the list of homes, and so that's where I found him. But I am a seminar junkie, and I've got burned a lot. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars for programs that don't work, 30-day money-back guarantees that you can't find the people. So this time I did due diligence for 3 months. I looked for everything I could find, Google, anything, Joe Crump, scam, any of that. I couldn't find anything. So I said, well, that's got to be pretty good. And I'm blessed that I did find him. I think the guy is down to earth, very true to life. I've been in the program a year. The mentorship is 6 months. I can send him an email today, and usually within 24 hours, he's back with me. So I implore somebody to find a mentor that's on the phone with them every 2 weeks, answer any questions, any emails, and he has a way of teaching. And I tell this to a couple other students. I had a math teacher in high school, the smartest man I've ever met in my life, but he couldn't teach. So, and I think that's a gift, that somebody can teach what they know, because he couldn't teach math, you know, and this guy truly cares that you succeed. And most people, once they have your sign-up fee or whatever you want to call it, they're done with you. They're moving on to the next. And then my other thing was, okay, Joe, I'm buying in. Where's at the back of the room, where's the next piece of the pie? Because most people, you know, they just get your appetite whet, but he gives you the whole package. And I admire that. And I don't know of anybody else that does what he does. And it's the first time I've made money with any of the courses, so I like that.
Right.
This is my 1-year anniversary.
1 year, that's right. Okay.
Me and Joe struggle with this one. Maybe a little bit of a control freak, but he, you know, I started getting really busy. So he says, George, you need to automate. So I hired somebody on Elance. They didn't do anything, you know, for 2 weeks. He says, well, get somebody else. Get somebody else. She just didn't work, let's put it that way. So I still am trying to do everything myself. My wife wants to get more involved, so she's going to be my new virtual assistant, I guess. I don't know, she's not too virtual. I see her every day, but you know, it gets her involved. She's excited about this whole program. She's really excited when she sees the checks, which I am too, but I don't get too excited until it's in my hand, because we know all of them don't actually work out. But so I have automated, not as good at it probably as I should, but I don't do too many calls. What I've learned with automation is I do send out a lot of emails. And I wasn't as good, I'm really good at it now, but I wasn't as good as saving those emails and putting them on my autoresponder. Now I'm very diligent about that, and actually 2 days ago, don't know how it happened, where it came from, but I got an email with a memo signed, and it had to be from one of these people that said no, or maybe, or I don't know, but I put their email in my autoresponder, and I called her, and I'm meeting with her next week, I think Wednesday, but that was kind of cool. Yeah. You know, came from the clear blue, it just dropped from the sky, and I've had about 5 of those deals happen like that, and that's pretty exciting when you wake up and you just see it's there. Is that real? And so that's exciting. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's been a roller coaster ride. I'm not going to say it was easy. I'm not going to say I got rich. Something that you have to work at all the time. And I work 7 days a week at it. Maybe not so much some days, but I always do something for the business, whether it's signs, whether it's sending emails, whether it's answering calls, talking to buyers, something happens every day. And I was going to do this alongside my job. But when I signed up, I lost my job, which gives me the time to do as much or as little as I want, and create my own hours, my own boss. Well, a job opportunity came up about a month ago, project manager, which is what I used to do, and I turned it down. I didn't want to be answering to somebody. I mean, I can ramp this business up to be as busy as I want to be, or as slow as I want to be. And if I don't work tomorrow, then I don't work tomorrow. But if you don't, I mean, Joe guarantees you one thing. If you don't do any work, you don't make any money. So I would like to make more money, just like anybody else. But it's been tough. I'm not going to say it's been easy. It's easier than digging ditches. But it's a people business, and if you don't like to talk to people, I don't know how that you could ever succeed at this business. So I will say that. I met some really great people throughout the times I've been here. And that's one great thing, is that you meet some good people that are doing the same thing you're doing. So my goal this year is to do more of the hierarchy stuff that Joe teaches. He teaches you do this first, do that, try and get some cash flow going. So I'm trying to fully automate the rent to own. And I'm going to try and focusing on getting my own houses this year. And my goal is 10 houses by the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. But I think I have the knowledge. I know I have the support of email and phone calls from other people that are doing what I want to do. And it's kind of nice that you build a network of friends and people that you can talk to, and you don't need to know it all. It's like I heard one time, and I think it might have been one of the CDs I heard, I can't remember, that when I turn the light switch on, I don't need to know how it got turned on other than the light went on. So that's kind of, I take that philosophy that if you do something that make it happen, the pieces will fall into place. And I think even with the rent to own, I think people get intimidated, by all the contracts, but when you do it once, it's pretty easy. It's not that hard. And if it is that hard, go back and look at the video, and it teaches you how to do it. So, but you don't have to know all that. You just have to start doing something to do the work. You paid good money to be here. Joe will tell you where to start, and I know when I first started, there was hours and hours of tapes, because he sends you the boot camp tapes or CDs, all the books, all the push button stuff, and I thought I had to do it all. But until I picked up the phone, that didn't mean a hill of beans. So my advice is do what he tells you to do, and if you don't do anything, you're not going to make any money. So, and I'm testimonial to that, because I gave up probably 3 months into it, and I had already signed deals and already made money, but I think somebody hurt my feelings or was mean on the phone, or maybe I had a continuation of a few of those, but you can't fix the world. You don't know what's on that person's plate at any given moment. But you got to realize they have one house, and you have a wealth of houses out there. There's many, many, many people in trouble right now that you can help. And if you look at it in that point of view, and some of these people are going to be better when you talk to them. Because they're not in a good place right now. But if you can help that person, you'd be surprised how happy and how they turn it around if you could just comfort them a little bit and offer them, your service, because you are very knowledgeable, whether you realize it or not, after you take this program. I'm amazed at what I know and what I was afraid of these big guys, but they don't know as much as I do now, and I have been in real estate a lot of years. I used to build houses, and I'd do 3 to 5 of those a year. I did some rehabbing and project management in office buildings, but this is a whole different way of thinking outside the box, and I didn't know this part of it. So I'm very thankful that I'm with Joe. I did, but I bought it wrong. I put too much in it. I was going to flip it. And I was successful on a few others, but then the market just tanked. And now this is a perfect storm for the business we're in. It's where you can, because most of the people that are renting now, they're not all investors. These are a lot of homeowners that couldn't sell their house, they don't know what they're doing. They're going to be in worse shape, or get themselves in trouble because they don't know how to rent a house. They'll listen to the songs and the dance from a lot of the buyers or the tenants, and very shortly they just don't even want it anymore. So if you can help them, and it doesn't really cost the sellers anything, you're doing a lot of work for them, and you should get paid well for what you do, because you're fixing something that they had no idea what to do with. So, and that's what we get paid for fixing their problems. I don't like being a landlord. I'll be perfectly honest with you, but I set my expectations high in the beginning so that there's no doubt of where it's going and what to expect. And I don't put up with late, and you're going to get charged for that. And I will serve you in 5 days if you're late. And I tell people, if think about it, if you had 20 people that were renting your houses, and everybody was late every single month, because that's the other side of the coin too, is they think that you've got millions of dollars, and they're just a lowly person, and they expect you to carry that burden. Well, you got to treat it like a business, because it's a business. And I think that's why a lot of landlords fail. So, but they don't have the knowledge that we have. I love Joe Crump. I think he's the best guy in the world. I'm not trying to sell anything for Joe. I've been in a lot of courses, a lot of mentorships, and I'm almost embarrassed of how much money I've spent. And this is the first program that I've made money with. But he's a compassionate guy. He wants to see you succeed. And he hates when people don't, but he can't dial the phone for them. And I'm amazed at how many people have come back, and I feel bad. And I've given my phone number to everybody pretty much at these events, and they don't pick up the phone to even call me. And then you see them a year later, and they still haven't done a deal. I don't understand that. Even if you do everything wrong, you could still get a deal, because there's a lot of people out there that need help. And I think they want to automate. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to talk to buyers. They don't want to talk to sellers. When I started, I talked to every buyer that came in, because I wanted to see what they wanted, where they wanted to live. Naturally you get I want 4 bedrooms, 2 baths on a lakefront, and for $400 a month. I mean, we all get those. But it was a good learning process for me to talk to everybody. Now I only want to talk to people that are interested. Not saying that I probably couldn't convert those that weren't interested. But I'd rather, if they say they're not interested, I put their email in autoresponder, and then they get mad at me. And Joe says, well, maybe you should unsubscribe them. And I says, I'm not doing that. There's a little button there. All they have to do is push it. And they can unsubscribe. And the reason I say that is because they haven't had enough pain yet. Now, if I unsubscribe them, they're going to say, man, I wish I had that guy's. So maybe I made a little gnat that flies around their head a little bit. But my thing is you can unsubscribe, but I'm not doing it for you. So, and I believe that this deal I just got was a no. And they didn't tell me to quit sending them anything. And because now I'm a little different. Now I say, are you sure you want to do this? Why don't you just rent it? Because I don't want to be competing with landlords. That's a big waste of my time. So I'm a little bit different now. I'd take anything at the beginning, and I probably still would take anything now, but I want them to totally understand that where I do, and Joe's favorite line is, here's how I work. And that's a very strong but powerful message. and it's your business, and you could make the rules however you want. If you don't do it that way, you find yourself getting very frustrated because they'll have you running around in circles. But it's like, he says, sometimes these people want to make the rules just like your kids want to make the rules. That stove's hot, don't touch it. And what are you going to just let them touch the stove because they want to make the rules? And he uses good analogies. You're doing what's best for that person. And if you keep that person is their best interest in mind, you do okay. Money will follow. So I got into it for the money. But if you're just money hungry and you're not helping people, I don't know that it works hand in hand. I guess it will, but I don't think like that. I did in the beginning, but there's a lot of pain out there, and I love doing what I do now. I love being able to wake up when I want and go to bed when I want and take days off when I want. And I'm not saying that I made what I used to make. I used to make pretty good money, but the point is my quality of life now is a little bit better. But in the rent to own, when you stop working that business, you stop making money. So I'm trying to look at more longer term stuff now to supplement, so when you do have that slow month or that, you want to go on vacation that month, you still have income coming in. So that's kind of my goal for this year, is to make it more of a sustainable business to where I don't need to be doing everything involved. And I'm thinking of outsourcing more things, maybe looking for somebody to show my properties, because it doesn't really cost you anything to do that unless they fill it. So that's kind of some of my goals, because I can't do everything anymore. You'll get burnt out, and then you won't do anything well. So that's my goal this year.